coming up as a live stream online. Doesn't seem to be wanting to. Let's see how we do on this. Oh, yes, we're on. I can see it on there. I'm just going to try and switch some comments and things on because I can't see how this is done properly, so bear with me. Top chat, we've got the chat window here. This will do me a treat. Right, good afternoon, good evening, good evening, everybody. This is a live stream direct from an Obsbot Tail Air straight onto the internet. I'm looking on my computer over there. What I've done is I've used my camera phone to set up the Obsbot so that you can see me just about right. Switched off the hand gestures so it doesn't do anything. I'm using the internal microphone, so I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. If you are watching this, please drop me a little line to let me know if you can hear me properly or not. I'm going to try and turn my sound up a little bit and make feedback. Yes, it's working on there, so I'm presuming that you can hear the sound properly. But I've used my camera to set up the Obsbot, and I'm going to keep on looking across to my screen over there every so often. We've got 5 people watching. If you are watching this, leave me a little note in the chat. Good to see you online. I know that one of them will be me. But I used the camera, and I found out that you can actually do direct live streams from the Obsbot. Now, this isn't the way I plan to do live streams. I prefer to do it with OBS so I can put the comments and things up. But this is literally going straight from Wi-Fi, from the Obsbot, Wi-Fi into my router, and straight onto YouTube. I can do this without any other computer around. And all I've had to do on that is I've just had to press and hold the record button at the bottom. I switched all the different types off. The different types of connections off, so it's not using the UTCs and things like that. What are the connections? What have we got in here? It's not using the UVC, the NDI, or the RSTP mode. They're all switched off, and all I'm doing is just going direct onto line using the Obsbot itself. So I can't see anybody on there. We've got 9 watching now. Good to see you all. I'm going to turn this into a little bit of a special one about this. So if you have any chats, please feel free to leave them on here. I don't know what I can say to this. Hello, Keith. Good to see you. Yes, good to see you online. You would have loved Cyprus. Cyprus was wonderful. The temperature was just nice. A couple of rainy days, but not too bad. Brendan Weldon. Hi, Brendan. Sounds great. Thank you, Brendan, for letting me know that one. And Phil Longshaw. Looking good, Brian. Thank you very much, all 3 of you. Yeah, this is a test. I've talked about this Obsbot Tail Air a couple of times. I know it's on a Micro Four Thirds camera. It's not meant to be a review of Micro Four Thirds camera, but I'm starting to do more live streaming and things like that. And I'm wanting a camera which I can use, which has got decent quality. And this I can adjust things like the aperture, the shutter speed and things, and the ISO on it, which should give me a little bit of a better shot on that. Now, my sister's been using one of those, and you'll find, if you have a look for that cruise and dance couple, that's my sister's channel, she's using one of these because she's doing dance demonstrations. And because it will do the automatic tracking around the floor, it's really good for her. But I did promise, as part of the deal with Obsbot, so it's a sponsored live stream, this one. I did promise to do, as part of the deal with Obsbot, an idea as to how we could show it doing a live stream. Now, I was going to do it just by using it as a webcam, but I thought it was a little bit simple. Anybody can set a webcam up and just use it through the OBS software. So, as I say, on this one, what I've done is I've decided I was going to use the Obsbot. It comes with, well, there's an extra on this, but I got it from them, an Ethernet adapter. You can hardware it in, or you can do it straight in the Wi-Fi. Now, this one's Wi-Fi'd straight into my router. So effectively, there's nothing on this. There's no cables on this. It's just sitting standalone, talking direct, and I can set up direct onto my YouTube account from inside the little bit of camera software, the Obsbot Start, and that allows me to do a live stream without any other computer. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. As I say, to get into it, it's dead simple. You just press and hold the record button, and that takes you along, and you can do things like go live stream into Facebook or YouTube or whatever. And the camera is just set up. I'm not using all the fancy bits and pieces. I'm just keeping it as a fixed camera. But I thought I'd do a very, very short thing tonight. So if there's any questions you want to ask me either about the Obsbot or about my little trip to Cyprus, which I've just got back yesterday from, late last night, I am shattered. Keith, you'll know this feeling awfully well because it's about a 5-hour flight from Paphos over to the UK, to Newcastle where I am. So it's about a 5-hour flight from there. I thoroughly enjoyed myself in Cyprus. Didn't get bitten to pieces this time, although Mrs. Four-Thirds did. We were staying in a different hotel than when I stayed last time. But I did visit that previous hotel to see a show, along with my granddaughter, my daughter, and Mrs. Four-Thirds. And Mrs. Four-Thirds got bitten all over her feet in that particular hotel. So I think there's something in that hotel. The one we were in, the Imperial, was fabulous, really enjoyable. So I could recommend that one. Paphos, if you haven't been there, I know Keith has, because I've actually met Keith in Paphos. Paphos is a fabulous little place, really nice. It's a holiday destination, but it's not the sort of over-the-top holiday destination. If there's anything you want to know about Paphos, give me a little shout on the chat, and I'll quite happily talk to you about that for a little while. And if Keith's still online, then I'm sure he would interject as well, because it's my little happy place. I enjoy going there. It does prove difficult to take photographs, though. The light quality is very intense. It's a really bright Mediterranean island. I think it's the 4th largest Mediterranean island, something like that. But it's a very intense light out there. So unless you're doing the golden hour at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, what you have is an awful lot of very bright overhead light. Difficult to control, difficult to get really good shots from, because it's a very hard light, lots of shadows. But really rich in that light. So this time I didn't shoot any videos necessarily for the channel. I basically just wanted to do some shots for myself. I didn't take the Obsbot. I was thinking about taking the Obsbot across with me, but you're a bit limited on weight and things. And although the Obsbot is small and light, I had other things I had to take across as well, because we had 2 birthdays. Mrs. Four-Thirds was celebrating her 21st birthday, or at least that's what she told me it was. And also Amber, who's my granddaughter, she had her 7th birthday there. So a few birthdays, lots of birthday presents had to be carried across. So I was at a premium for weight and space. I did take a tripod with me, which I've never done before, because I've got a new Ken Faith tripod, a KNF tripod, which I'm really impressed with. Knocked out with, in fact. I use it quite a bit over there. Carbon fibre tripod, really nice and light and very, very sturdy. So that was superb. I thoroughly enjoyed using that. So went across there. So I did promise when I come back I was going to have a play with this Obsbot. And I've talked about it a few times. It's quite expensive. It's about £500 for an Obsbot over here, so it's not a cheap commodity. But in comparison to an awful lot of other cameras, it's not silly expensive either, I must admit. I do find that it's very, very straightforward. I can record this. I'm recording this straight onto the little SD card, which is internal on this as we speak. But as I say, this is straight through. I could do it onto the Ethernet, and I can actually take power over Ethernet if my router can put power over Ethernet out to it. Mine doesn't, but I can put power over Ethernet, and I can even power it from an RJ45 connection on there. But this is just straight from the camera to the router. There's no computer in between. In theory, I could do this straight out of my telephone if I wanted to. If I was in the middle of nowhere, I could do a live stream from the middle of nowhere in a field, so long as I've got a Wi-Fi signal of some description. And in this case, it would be a 4G or a 5G signal. I could, in theory, do a live stream from anywhere. The battery inside the Obsbot will keep me going for quite some time. I think it's about an hour or something, 30 minutes to an hour, somewhere like that. But also, I've got my phone, so in theory, I could do this totally standalone. I could, of course, run the Obsbot from a power pack. So if I had a small battery pack for charging up my mobile phone or whatever, I could power it direct from that, and that would do it just as easily. So it's really, really adaptable, incredibly easy to set up. I'd set up on YouTube to do live streams anyway, and all I did is I just created a new one on the Obsbot, 3 lines of code, told it what I wanted it to call it, said when I wanted it to start, and there was something else, and I can't remember what it was, but basically, that was it. And just basically put them in, hit it. Anything I'd already stored on my live streams on YouTube previously was already there because I'd logged into the account, and I hit start. So as simple as that. So how many have we got on here? Hi, 10 people. If you are watching, please drop me a little note along with Keith, Brendan and Phil and say hello. I'd really love to know who's online at the moment. I'm doing this piecemeal because I say my computer over here isn't actually connected to this Obsbot that I'm streaming from. So I've got really no idea who's online at the moment or not. But if you are online, please just drop me a little note on the chat at the side. I'd really love to hear from you. And if there's any questions you'd like to ask me while I'm online, very, very short live stream, as I say at the moment. But if there's anything you want to ask either about the Obsbot or about photography in general, or about my little time in Cyprus, please shout. But I'm not seeing too many comments. I hope hopefully that there's some comments there coming through and it hasn't just frozen. As I say, I'm very early on it. Oh, Brian Horan. Hi, Brian from Michigan, USA. Hi, Michigan. It's great to see people from over the pond. And spell Brian the proper way, of course. All the best people do. I'll probably put half my audience off now who spell it with a Y, but I spell mine with an I as well. So hi, Brian in Michigan. Let me know what you shoot. Brian, do you shoot Micro Four Thirds? Do you ever do live streams? Let me know on there. And what's the weather like in Michigan at the moment? It's somewhere I've never been to. There's a lot of places in the States I would love to go to. Michigan's one of them, actually. Michigan, Nashville, Tennessee. Really love to go to Nashville. Brendan Weldon. Oh, you're in southern Spain. Yeah, you've got exactly the same thing. Mediterranean island, Mediterranean area. Southern Spain, you're right on the edge of the Med there. It can be very harsh. What I do tend to do, although obviously I can't take this over, I have a huge shoot-through umbrella. This is, I think it's 90-inch shoot-through umbrella. It's massive. You can actually put it up and stand in front of it and bounce the light behind you and right out. And I found that that's really good. If you put it up, it acts as a wonderful diffuser. So you can get that high and out of the shot, but it will cover best part of the area you're on. It's something I've got it in the garage. Very rarely use it. I did do a few shots with it a few years ago when I was shooting schools. It was a great idea. I bought a shoot-through and also a silver reflector one. The silver reflector one I found was just too much. It was just too harsh. But the shoot-through is great, but it's massive. And again, that's a great way to get very, very good light. If you are doing any modelling work outside in somewhere like Cyprus or Spain. So it's maybe worth trying one of those and just getting that as a cover over. If not, just get a sheet, a very thin sheet, cotton sheet, and just suspend it over the top. Really good for getting the light diffused nicely. Yes. Micro Four Thirds, Brian, good to see. It's cold out there. Oh, yeah, it's cold out. It's cold back here in the UK as well. So yes, it's say the place I'd love to go to in America. I'd like to go to Michigan. I think it's an interesting place to go to. I want to go to Nashville, Tennessee. I've done Florida. I've done a little Florida bit, but I would really love to go to some of Texas. There's a few places in Texas I'd love to go to as well. But Michigan's always one of those things from a Brit's point of view. You see in the movies, you see in the films, and it has there's a certain appeal on that. And as you say, it's beautiful. I can imagine it really will be. Massive Blue video production. Just finished a video shoot and enjoy listening to you while driving home. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for listening. It's really good. You just finished a video shoot. Well, if you're driving, you'll not be able to comment on that. So if you don't put yourself in a dangerous position driving. But if you just finished a video shoot and you can let me know. Let me know where you were. EM1 Mark 1 from Brian, and EM5 Mark 3. Sorry, EM1 Mark 2 from Brian, and an EM5 Mark 3 from him as well. Great cameras. I've got an EM1 Mark 2. I love it. And of course, the EM5 Mark III is pretty much the same camera in a different body with one or two little tweaks. I did a review of an AM1 Mark III about 1.25 years ago. I think it was December 2022. I borrowed Trev's AM1 Mark III, and I really was impressed with it. So yes, I think it's pretty much considered to be an AM1 Mark II in a smaller, lighter box. So I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. 5 miles from Lake Michigan. That's that little body of water, isn't it, Lake Michigan? It's almost a pond, isn't it? No, it's huge. Lake Michigan is absolutely phenomenally huge, if I'm not mistaken. There's the shipping lanes and things on Lake Michigan. It's so big. Fabulous. Brendan, thanks, mate. I'll try. I'm on Olympus cameras. You have too many. Yeah, I have too many too. I'm constantly being told I have too many cameras. Victor, if I get names wrong, I do apologise. I'm lousy for getting names wrong from this. Victor Piqueres Martinez. Hopefully I've got that right. Don't be offended if I didn't. But hello, greetings from Spain. A second person from Spain on here tonight. Good to see it from that area. Again, fabulous. Just getting back from 2 weeks in Cyprus and being in that Mediterranean area, I am so envious of you still being down there. I'm already missing the sunshine. Yeah, it is huge. It's almost Brian saying that Lake Michigan is huge. It's almost the size of an inland sea. It's massive. There are huge, great big shipping lanes and things over there. I watched a documentary a little while ago. There's all sorts under it as well. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. AM1 Mark III and the live ND filters are great. I've never tried the live ND filters. I did have a play of an OM1 a little while ago. My colleague Jerry is an OM1, but I've never had a chance to play with the live ND filters. There's a lot of good things coming back, and of course the OM1 Mark II has got the graduated ND filter. But yeah, I'd love to see some of the effects from those live ND filters. They seem to be really, really effective. It's a clever way of doing it. It's not a proper ND filter, obviously, insofar as it's putting multiple photographs together. But it does sound really interesting. Brian, in the town of Manistee. I'll have to have a look on the map for Manistee. I'll have a look afterwards. Large freighters come right through downtown. Yeah, I'd love to know what sort of tonnage goes through that, because Lake Michigan, as I say, it's got its own seaways and all sorts of things, and some massive ships on there for an inland waterway. Oscar Aratia, Brian, greetings from Virginia, USA, a Lumix fan. Hi, Virginia. Saying about places in the States, another great place to go and visit. I have been so restricted where I've been. It's such a massive planet, and you have so little chance to go around and see some of those things. Lumix fan, I'm presuming a Micro Four Thirds fan, but not necessarily. It could be shooting. It could be shooting the S series. I'm still in two minds which one I prefer between Lumix and Olympus. They both have some fantastic opportunities with them, so I'd be interested. I need to settle down one day, and I just can't think of one thing I want to settle down on. Anthony, everybody around the world that loves using OM Systems cameras and lenses need to contact OM Systems in their country and tell them they want to see a brand new Pen F2 camera. Yeah, a Pen F2 really would be rather good. I'm very impressed with the Pen F. Again, my colleague Jerry had one for a good while. So they are a good camera, and it is getting long in the tooth, the one that's out there. And there's a lot of words. I've seen it on some of the other podcasts, videocasts which have been on from some of my contemporaries on here, saying that the small compact cameras just aren't popular enough for them to put the investment in. I disagree. You know, the amount of people who've called for a new Pen F has been phenomenal. So yes, Anthony, I totally agree with you on that one. Master Blue Video Productions, a bookshop closing down in Vienna. They're always inviting guests for anecdotes and stories. Where are you going to take the Obsbot first, since anywhere is a huge region? Vienna. That'd be a nice place to do some photography. You lucky man. Or lucky person. I don't know if you're a man or a woman, so I'm presuming that man, because most of my viewers are men, but I'm very open to women down here as well. But lucky person. bookshop closing down Vienna. That would be a really interesting shootout. I'd love to see the end results of that one. Where are you going to take the Obsbot first? Well, it's going to have to go over to Cyprus at some point. I don't really know. A lot of it's going to be just for doing these sort of things in the room here and seeing how we go. But I do have a bit of a fascination for doing some live streams from some interesting places. That's got me thinking, actually. Thanks, Master Blue Productions. You've got me thinking, where could I do some off-the-wall, strange live feeds from there? That could be a really good side of the channel. Thanks, mate. I'm gonna have a think on that one, and maybe do some live streams from strange places using the Obsbot. Thanks, Brendan. Have a Pen F as well as and nothing shoots black and white like it. Suits the camera perfectly. Yeah, there's a couple of settings, because I mean you've got the dial on the front of the Pen F, which will do all your sort of different styles. And I was quite dismissive of that at first when I thought, oh, it was a bit of a cheap sort of, you know, and yeah, so what? But the more people I talk to, they think it's just ideal. They just use it, and it's there, and it's simple to switch over. And getting into monochrome mode on that is so easy. So yes, I can well imagine that you shoot black and white light on there. There is one thing I really do love. I was using my GX8, and there's a thing called dynamic monochrome, and I did a couple of shots. I put them in a video the other day, just being out and about in the middle of Paphos at night, and I just decided to take a couple of shots just on a dynamic monochrome, and straight out the camera, didn't do anything to them. Really impressive, ultra high contrast, but really suited the scene, give a dramatic sort of view. And some of these cameras are really getting some interesting black and white modes in there. So I can understand you liking that, Brendan. Yeah, looking forward to that. Thanks, Master Blue. Yeah, I'm gonna. If you can think of anything, drop me some lines sometime. How many Micro Four Thirds users want to see brand new Pen F from OM Systems? I think an awful lot. I think an awful lot will want to see a brand new Pen F. By the way, I'm not keeping this as a long video. It's going to be very, very short tonight. This was purely as a test for the Obsbot, and this is part of my obligation to Obsbot for supplying it. And we had a conversation on the email about what we could use it for, because they're looking to find different ways. And I asked them if it was possible to do a live stream without having the rest of the computer. And they thought it was, and we've talked it through. So this is a little bit, partly an obligation to fulfill that. So this is obviously a sponsored video. But at the same time, I was fascinated because I thought to myself, this has got so many opportunities. And as Master Blue Video Productions has said, I could do some live streams from all over. So yes, I'm going to keep this as a very short one tonight, and it'll not be the last time you see the Obsbot, as been suggested. Let's get out to some interesting places. Strange times, just do drop in live videos, you know, whatever's going on. Let's do your highest. I'm unfit. I can't climb my highest mountain. Stream from the highest mountain in Austria has 5G. Wow, I can't do mountains. I'm disabled. I'll have a think though. We could do it if it was in Wales, because Wales, Mount Snowdon has a railway station at the top. You could actually do it from Mount Snowdon. That would be interesting. But Scafell, which is the highest in England, which is in Cumbria, it's not far away from me, that's a hike. And Ben Nevis, which is the highest one in Scotland, we went there. That is formidable. We were there a couple of years ago when we took the caravan around Scotland, and when we were at Fort William, and Ben Nevis is just outside Fort William, and it is a magnificent sight when you're looking up at Ben Nevis, and there is no way in the world I'm climbing up that high. Anthony, hi Brian, would you be satisfied with a new sensor if it only had 24 megapixels resolution? Absolutely. I'm not a great megapixel fan. I'm not into this desperate need for super more megapixels. I like the idea of the stacked sensor on the OM1. I think that's a really good idea. I would love to see an improvement in sensors insofar as read speed. I think read speed from sensors and parallel reading from sensors is, to me, much more important than getting a high megapixel count. High megapixel counts will come. We're getting everything. It's just a case of miniaturizing the chips, and we use the same wafers as they use on the full frame cameras. So that's why we have a smaller megapixel count. We've got a smaller area of sensor. But insofar as megapixel count, I shoot an awful lot of mine still on my 16 megapixel OM1 Mark 1, and I love what I get out of it. In fact, I really do like the colors. I really do like the contrast. I've said this a few times online. The OM1 Mark 1, I think, is a phenomenal camera, an absolutely phenomenal camera. It's only 16 megapixel. The EM1 Mark 1, that's what I meant to say. You knew what I meant. The EM1 Mark 1 is a truly fantastic camera, and although it's only 16 megapixel, I never feel it's lacking. I shot for quite a while with a Canon EOS 1D Mark III, which had a 10 megapixel camera. I did professional work on that. It was a phenomenal piece of kit, a 10 megapixel. I got some superb shots out of it. So the ultimate sort of mega high megapixel count doesn't bother me so much. So 24 wouldn't bother me. But if I could get much better read speeds, much better able to, for the processors to manipulate that data, which they are getting that way, and if I could get parallel reads, and I can't remember, there's a name of the sensor which would basically take them off as a single parallel read. And my brain's gone this time of night. And basically those would allow you to do unbelievably high flash speeds, because you'd be taking the data off in one piece. I think that would be much more important to me than a sensor bigger than 24 megapixel. But I'm not going to refuse a bigger megapixel camera, but I don't think we need it. That's my personal take on it. Brendan, if they made a Pen F2, would they have to revert to Olympus name as an OM system on the front? Would look odd. I don't believe it does look odd, Brendan. I do take your point, but no, they'll never be allowed to use the Olympus name again, I don't think, because of contractual reasons. It's been that's why we got the OM1 Mark II as an OM system camera rather than the Olympus, which was on the OM1 Mark I. That was the line in the sand. That was the dividing line. And I don't think we'll see Olympus on any more new products from OM system. But at the same time, I had a bit of a worry that OM system was going to look odd on the front. But when I got the OM1 Mark II in my hand and played with the camera and looked at it, it just looked natural. Honestly, it doesn't bother me. And if a Pen F Mark II came out with OM system written on it, I'm not in the least bit bothered by it. There's a little bit of romanticism in having an Olympus name on the camera, because obviously I grew up with Olympus cameras. My first professional camera was my OM1, my film OM1, which is up on the shelf up there somewhere. Let's see if I can get it down. I'll be a moment. Oh, if I can get it down without knocking the whole place over. Yeah. Excusing my bum somewhat. But yeah, that's it's sitting in a cradle at the moment. But this is my OM1, all 45 years old of it. Yeah. So I have a romantic sort of tie to the Olympus name. It served me really well. Still works, this beautiful camera. Do I have a film in it or not? I don't think I have a film in. Let's hope not, because I'm just about to... No, I don't. But yeah, this beautiful camera just still works wonderfully. And that is where I would like to see the Olympus name. But in reality, I'm more bothered about having a good camera. So no, it doesn't upset me on that, having it. Anthony, Fujifilm and Nikon, or Nikon. Even I've started saying Nikon. It's Nikon in the UK. Fujifilm and Nikon cannot keep up with orders with their new X100 Mark 6 and ZF, especially Fujifilm, cannot keep up demand. I think OM Systems would have no problem selling the new Pen F. Totally with you. I think I think it's a mistake not being in the market at the moment with a nostalgic sort of looking camera styling wise. It's ridiculous. You can't get the X100. Excuse me, I'm gonna cough. You're right. You can't get hold of it. But also, have you seen the second-hand prices for the previous models? They are going for ridiculous money. They're so popular. So yes, I think that really OM System desperately need to get something out on the market very, very quickly with that retro styling, with fantastic facilities on it, and really go to town on that, because the X100 Mark VI and the ZF really are taking that market share and proving that there is a call for it. Ray Carroll, hello Ray, how are you doing? Good to see you online. Hi Brian, I have a Panasonic G9, good choice. What would you say is the best lens for doing micro? I'm presuming by micro you're meaning macro. I've never tried the Lumix macro lens, the 30mm lens from there. I've tried two lenses with really good results. One was the 60mm Olympus f2.8 macro lens, which I did a review on. So if you have a look through my back catalogue of videos, you'll find that there's a review about the 60mm macro. I was knocked out by that. I think it's a beautiful lens, absolutely stunning performance from it. I love the focus limiting switching on there, so it will snap on quickly, so you can actually use it in a very close proximity. But I had my hands just before I went away on a 90mm, the 90mm which came out about a year ago from Olympus. Now remember, with Lumix and Olympus, on 90% of the time, switching lenses between the two, you're going to get fantastic results. There are one or two which you just don't quite like going across the brands, but it is a micro four thirds format standard, and from that, the Olympus lenses will fit perfectly onto the Lumix cameras and vice versa. One of the beautiful things we're using the G9, if I'm right, I'm trying to remember, so if I do get this wrong, please don't jump down my throat, but give me a thumbs up in the comments if I do get it right. But I think that you can do focus stacking on almost any lens on the G9. You can do that on the EM1s and OM1 if you have the Pro Series lens or the macro lenses, but I don't believe it's all lenses you can do focus stacking. But I think that the focus stacking on the G9 will work with the Olympus lenses. And if that's the case, that's going to be absolutely fabulous, because doing focus stacking, the problem with macro photography is it's very difficult to get a deep depth of field. Micro four thirds does help that. It's the thing that we get criticized for in the portrait world if we're doing that. But insofar as macro, being a micro four thirds, does give us that little bit of an advantage insofar as the depth of field for the given focal length. The 60 and the 90 particularly score, because if you're doing something macro wise, you want to get into something which is going to be maybe frightened off a fly or an insect or something like that. Being the longer end of the focal range, the 60, which is the 120mm full frame equivalent, I don't like equivalents, but you get the idea, or the 90, which is a 180, are going to allow you to be further away and still get that one-to-one, that true macro zoom, if you like, that true macro one-to-one image. And it's going to allow you to be further away to get that, so you're less likely to disturb it and less likely to have your subject fly away. Alternatively, you can go in and get more than one-to-one magnification, which is just phenomenal. So I would probably say, depending on what budget you've got, I love the 60. I thoroughly enjoyed using that. I haven't used the 30mm from Lumix. It could be ideal for you, and it's a little bit less expensive. But if you can get the 60, or the 90 is fabulous. Just having a look on these things again. Massive Blue Video Productions. Someone today was taking photographs of the Lumix LX100. I remember using it once too. A version 3 would be great. Yeah, the LX100 has the fixed lens, doesn't it? It's not a great deal dissimilar to my G100, but it's got the fixed lens on it. Again, they got a huge write-up from people. People loved that little camera. And it's only recently been discontinued, but I think this could still be a market for that. Really could. But I personally like the G100, but I want a G100 Mark II. They brought a G100D out or something like that, which basically give it a USB socket rather than a micro USB. But I want to see a G100 Mark II out with proper electronic image stabilization, proper manual, mechanical, if you like, where it's moving the sensor around, proper image stabilization in it, without doing silly crops that you can do. So you can do stabilized video without cropping into a ridiculous amount. That really would do wonders for me. So if you can do that, Lumix, I really would like that. And that would like more than the LX100. Eric Lindquist. Hi, Brian. You'll watch this tonight. About to take daughter to Chuck E. Cheese's. Oh, yeah. Got to take your daughter out. Got to put your family first. So yeah, it'll be nice to see if you are watching this later, Eric. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed your night out with your daughter at Chuck E. Cheese's. And thanks for watching. Oscar Aratia. Again, not good on names, so if I don't get the name quite right, please excuse me. It's not a personal thing. What is the lens you use most during your trip? I only took 2 lenses. I was very minimal on the cameras because, as I say, I had lots of birthday presents to take for Mrs. 4/3 and for my granddaughter Amber. So, and I also wanted to take a tripod just for a trip. So I only took 2 cameras. I took my GX8 and I took my my G100. And I also took the little gimbal, the little OM5 gimbal for my phone as well. I didn't do a huge amount of shooting for this, but I took 2 lenses. One is the 12 to 32 f3.5 to 5.6, the little pancake zoom lens, which I do most of my videos on. I think it's a superb lens. I think it's awesome and ideal for what I want to do. That was stuck permanently into my G100. My GX8, I took 2 lenses with that. I took my 14 to 140mm f3.5 to 5.6 Lumix. That's become pretty much my holiday lens. I have said about getting the 12 to 100 Pro Olympus. I still want that. I've been told no for the moment, cash flow wise. As soon as I get some cash flow, I will be buying that. I had one ordered. I had to stop the order just because I run out of cash. So I took that, but I also took my 17mm f1.8 Olympus lens because I think that's just a really nice, neat carry-around lens. And if I want to get into somewhere to get low light, that 1.8 really makes it comfortable and possible to do. And it's a nice focal length. I like that 17mm, which again, if I'm going to use equivalences, I used to shoot a lot at 35mm on when I had my film camera. That was close enough, wasn't it? My film camera equivalent. I used to shoot. I've got the 50mm on this at the moment, but I used to shoot an awful lot at 35mm on the film camera. I like that focal length. It's just on the edge of distortion if you don't use it properly, but if you do use it properly, it's got a lovely look to it. And the 17mm, of course, for micro four thirds fulfills that. So that's what I took for my main camera: 17mm f1.8. 14 to 140 f3.5 to 5.6 Lumix. And that, I think, has answered all the questions on those. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. As I say, this was a very impromptu video. I'm going to be forwarding this on to Obsbot. Let them see how well or how badly it's gone, because I haven't even seen the video yet. I'm looking at the camera. I can't actually see myself on the screen because to read the comments, I've had to scroll me about a site. But as I say, all I did on this, very, very simply, and I love this idea. Thanks, Massive Blue, because I think it's great. All I did on this was I just got my phone connected to my camera through the router. I could have done it straight with a 4G connection or a 5G connection on the phone. But all I did is I just connected this onto the Obsbot, got myself so that I was pretty much in the top corner. I can't see this properly. Top corner, so that I knew that my framing was right. I didn't want the hand gestures, so I went to the menu to switch the hand gestures off because I wanted it fixed and not following around. And I literally just pressed and held the record button, and that put me into a position where I could choose which live stream, and chose that, scheduled it up, press start, and off I went. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of this very impromptu one, because it wasn't advertised. I literally just put it on together. And thanks for all your interest in the channel and all the interest in what I've just been doing. I have a few really good ideas now. I won't be, you know, there's a challenge there, isn't there? Now I'm losing weight. I'm trying to lose weight. I can't lose weight very well when I've been away on holiday in an all-inclusive hotel. But I am trying to lose some weight seriously because of the sugar diabetes that I've had. So that's part of my challenge, is to fit myself up, get rid of my sugar diabetes by losing the weight, by watching what I'm eating. So maybe the target of going up, maybe if not the highest mountain, but seriously one of the hills in the Lake District, maybe a good idea. So thank you for that idea. If there's any more ideas as to places that I could do live streams from, which are totally unconnected except for through the phone, that would be good to do as well. It could be a fun little challenge. You could be doing a live stream by camera from the top of a hill in the Lake District. That would be superb. What a way to actually have, what a backdrop to have. Keith, thank you very much for your final comment. I'm going to put this as a final comment. The sound and picture are very good, Brian. Thank you very much, Keith, for that feedback. I'm really pleased about that. As I say, I'm very impressed by this. I shouldn't be, because it's nothing to do with Micro Four Thirds, but it is to do with what I do photography-wise, and I'm knocked out by this little camera. I have been cheating a little bit insofar as I've had the remote. I do find it easier to move around with the remote if I want to zoom in, for instance, or zoom out. And move the camera with the joystick. I do find the remote makes it a little bit easier rather than scrolling my fingers around the screen. But yeah, I'm impressed with this. This is a new piece of kit in my arsenal, and I think it's a permanent piece of kit in my arsenal. And I do appreciate the support Obsbot has given me. As I say, I think it's not cheap, but the quality of it is superb. As I say, it's still running on its internal battery. So, you know, and I've got 4 markers of battery up there, so it says I've got plenty. I'm really impressed with it. It has limitations, but I can't think of anything which does the job as well as this does on the market, and so wide. So I think this is going to be a bit of a... I said Keith was going to be my last comment. Brendan's come up. Brendan Weldon, good luck with the weight. I've lost 28 kilos. Wow, 28 kilos. That's, well, 2.2 kilos to the pound. That's 56... that's about 50, that's a lot. That's about 60 pounds, over 60 pounds. Well done, Brendan. I am knocked out by that. That's a hell of a lot of weight to lose. You'll be stick thin. I have lost weight like that in the past. I've had 2 or 3 diets in the past which I lost a lot of weight on, but unfortunately I've always let it come back. So don't let it come back, Brendan. That's the key thing. Take it from an expert in how to put weight back on. Don't do it. 28 kilos in 4 months. I mean, what's that? That's 7 kilos a month. That's about 1.25 stone in English money. About 1.25 stone per month. So you've lost about 5 or 6 stone there. Unbelievable. Well done, mate. I am over the moon for you. I really am, because and envious. I will have to be catching you up, but just don't put it back on again. I've put it on too many times, and it's had a detrimental effect. You do all that work, and it is hard work. Anybody who's never had to lose weight, anybody who's naturally slim, naturally thin, and naturally has a high metabolic rate, you are so lucky, because when you have to lose weight like that, it's hard. It is so difficult. And a lot of overweight people, I was going to say fat like I am, but overweight people aren't necessarily the biggest eaters, but the lifestyle and the metabolism and all sorts of things means that you retain the weight. And this isn't an excuse, this is just the way it goes. A lot of the people who I know who are grossly overweight aren't the biggest eaters I know. Some of the biggest eaters are super slim. Some of the dancers I was talking to in Cyprus are stick thin and eat 3 times what I was eating when I was out there. But of course, the metabolism which burns it off, and the physical lifestyle. So Brendan, if you've lost 28 kilos in 4 months, you have my total admiration, mate, because it's hard going. Hopefully I'll join you soon. Anyway, thanks for watching this live stream tonight. Thanks very much for supporting me in my test of the Obsbot. And the next live stream will probably be using the Obsbot, but I'll be doing it through the OBS into the computer, because then I can get all the comments and things on screen, which I haven't had tonight, and I can put overlays and things on. But until the next time, keep on taking your camera out, keep on having fun with your photography, whether you're in Spain or Venice or Michigan, or where else do we have? Obviously UK we've got on there, but Virginia. I knew there was another American on there from Virginia. Wherever you are, keep on taking your camera out, keep on having fun with your photography, and thanks very much for supporting the channel. It really is appreciated. See you soon. Bye bye. Oh, gotta press the stop button. How do I press the stop button on here? Right. I think that should be it. Where do I go? Hopefully you're off. If you're not off, then I don't know how to switch it off. I think I'm still live streaming. If I'm still live streaming, I don't know how to switch the live stream off. This is fun.